Hi everyone, good morning, happy Friday. Today for reading, boys and girls, just like yesterday, we are going to be learning to answer literal questions. Now remember, literal questions are questions where the answers to the questions can be found right there in front of us. So if I'm asking questions about a text, okay, then the answers to our questions are right there in the text. The answers are stated in here. We just have to find them. We just have to locate them, okay? We don't need to dig deeper and think about other clues or think about other information that we know about something. We just need to look for the answers in the book, okay? So today, we are going to be showing our understanding of a story by answering literal questions. Okay, we're going to do that together in this video first. And while I'm reading, I need you listening really carefully because when we finish the story, I'm then going to ask you some questions and we're going to practice going back and locating the answers. Okay, and then answering our questions in full sentences. All right. Now, if you can see the words, I want you to read on with me. I'm just going to back up and reread from page 18 so we haven't forgotten what we've read last, okay? The Queen forgot her promise. One night, the little man suddenly appeared. "I'll take the boy," he said, reaching out for the baby. "No," cried the Queen. "Take my jewels instead." "I don't want jewels," he laughed. "You must guess my name. If you can't, the baby is mine." "You have 3 days," said the little man. The king and queen sent servants to gather names for every corner of the kingdom, from every corner of the kingdom. The next day, the little man appeared. "Is your name Harry, or Larry, or Barry?" asked the queen. The little man shook his head. She guessed lots of names. "That is not my name," he cried. "You have 2 days." The next day the queen guessed again, but every guess was wrong. "You have only 1 day left," laughed the little man. That night a woodcutter saw a strange little man dancing round a fire, singing, "The queen will never win this game, for Rumpelstiltskin is my name." The woodcutter told the queen the little man's name. On the 3rd night the little man appeared. The queen pretended to think of his name. "Is it Doodlebug, or Twiddlywinks, or Flibbertigibbet?" The little man crept close to the baby's bed. "Or is it Rumpelstiltskin?" asked the queen. The little man was very cross. He turned red from head to toe and jumped up and down. He stamped his feet so hard that crack! He fell right through the floor. And they never saw him again. Okay, that's the end of the story. Now we have some questions to answer about that, okay? So I've made this a bit more tricky than yesterday. We have just finished reading the story, and now I'm going to ask you some questions, which means we need to go back through the book to try and find our answers, okay? Let's see if we can do that today. All right, question 1. Who did the king and queen send to gather names? Now, you might already remember that information, and if you do, that's fantastic, but we need to go back and check and make sure that we are correct, okay? Because remember, the answer will be in our book. Who did the king and queen send to gather names. Now, all right. Now I know it's not going to be at the start of the story because the king and queen had not met yet. So it must be after the king and queen met. This page gave us information about how the king asked the queen to be his queen. So the information is not there. This page gives us information about how the little man was asking for her to give the baby to him. So the information is not there. So our question is, who did the king and queen send to gather names? Let's reread this page and see if our answer is here. Okay. The king and queen sent servants to gather names from every corner of the kingdom. Okay. I think we have just found our answer. Let's have a read of that first sentence again. The king and queen sent servants to gather names from every corner of the kingdom. This word here, sent, was a helping word that gave me that information and made me want to read that whole sentence. So I now know the king and queen sent servants to gather names. Okay, the information is right here. I have located that information. I have found it. I can now answer that question in a full sentence. Who did the king and queen send to gather names? Remember, if I'm answering in a full sentence, I need to word it with, and I've started with a capital letter, the king and queen sent servants to gather names. Now, this question was a who question. So I knew I was going to be looking for people. Okay, servants are people. That is their job. Okay, so I knew I wasn't going to be looking for a thing. I was looking for people. So that the who in this question gave me that clue. Okay, let's read our next question. What did the woodcutter see at night? What did the woodcutter see at night? Okay. Now, it's about what the woodcutter saw. So I know the woodcutter doesn't come into the story until late. So I'm going to look for where the woodcutter is. I think this is the woodcutter. Yep. Okay, let's have a read of this page because maybe the information will be here. All right. The next day, the queen guessed again, but every guess was wrong. You have only one day left, laughed the little man. That night, so the question was about what the woodcutter saw at night. So maybe this is helpful information. That night, a woodcutter, okay, that's a helping word. That night, a woodcutter saw a strange little man dancing round a fire singing. So there's our information. I located where the woodcutter is, and it says a woodcutter saw a strange little man dancing round a fire singing. So, what did the woodcutter see at night? Remember, if I'm answering it in a full sentence, I start with the woodcutter saw, and I just need to look back at the words in the book to make sure that my information is correct. Okay, that's what good readers would do. That night, a woodcutter saw a strange little man. A strange little man dancing and singing. Awesome. We have just answered 2 questions using full sentences. okay? And we went back to find this information, and the answers were right there in the text because they are literal questions. All right, we did have a couple other questions, but we're going to stop there for today because I want you to get started on your task. You are now going to go to the next slide in the PowerPoint presentation, and you are going to answer the questions, the literal questions on that slide, okay? Yesterday, you read 8 pages, okay? Today, I would like for you to read the next 8 pages, all right? You are reading the next 8 pages and answering the literal questions. Make sure your title at the top of your page says literal questions, and make sure you are answering them in full sentences. Okay? Awesome. Good luck, boys and girls, and make sure you send photos of your work through to me like you've all been doing. Well done. Bye.